People know you made mistakes. Don't wanna grow when they think you a saint. Watch your step, nigga. Be made aware, nigga. They'll close the gate before they see you change. I done hurt, I done burnt, and I'm back down. Had to change my ways, I'm back now. Backed up, had to leave it in the background. 4 rounds, him blood get lit now. Tanked up, strapped up, can't get time. No agreements that was.
Hello and welcome to USA Podcast. I'm David, your host, and that was my artist, Arthur Dunn. His latest hit, Saint. Make sure everybody go out there and get it. He's the hottest rapper out there, and I want everybody to support his album. Today, I want to talk to you about politics. We're going to talk about what DEI is. Before we get started, I want everybody to hit that like button and that subscribe button and make sure you follow me. DEI is very important. We're hearing about it in the news, and we see Donald Trump and his administration are trying to repeal everything that has to do with whatever DEI is. And DEI stands for Diversity, Equity, Inclusion. And it basically says it is a set of policies that is aimed at to create a more welcoming and inclusive society. We're trying to make it inclusive for everybody, no matter what race, no matter what sex, and basically whatever religion you have, you are included, and everybody want to make you feel welcome and no discrimination, no matter what, especially sexual orientation. That is something that's included in here. And that's something we might need to talk about because that is one of the things that the Trump administration is going hard on. It said that he only recognizes male and female, no transgender and no other genders other than male and female. So he's repealing anything that has to do with transgender participating in sports. Only males participate in male sports and females participate in female sports. Now, all of this started in 2003 when the Supreme Court ruled against race-conscious admissions in college. And basically that is taking race out of consideration for admissions into college. Now, once that happened, you had conservatives filing lawsuits all over the place to repeal anything that had to do with diversity, including the civil rights laws that we had and affirmative action and things like that. They filed lawsuits from state to state, challenging all of that to repeal everything that has to do with it. And then you had a lot of the big corporations following suit, such as Walmart, Target, and all of that. So they're saying basically that no more inclusion. We're not going to use gender or race as any criteria for our hiring practices. We don't want a diverse workplace. It seems like we don't want a diverse culture. And that's what they're going against. Now, plainly speaking, this is how it would work. People trying to get into college, black people and other ethnic groups, now they won't consider your race when admission to college. Now, most of the colleges are controlled by the white people. And what happens is, when they're looking at admissions, you have people that comes from a lot of upscale high schools and things of that nature where their curriculum may be a little more challenging than a curriculum coming from someone coming from an inner city. So then when it comes down to it getting into college, you have to balance it and weigh it where you see where we don't have enough diversity at this college. and we have someone coming from a inner city college that makes good grades and he's at the top of his class, but his grades may not be as good as this other person coming from another school. What do we do then? So in order to have a more diverse student body, you have to use race in this and different other things. Because if you don't, if it's left up to the person in admissions, they're gonna look out for a person that looks just like them. There is no fairness in it. They're gonna say, hey, well, this person came from a better high school, so we're gonna admit them. And they're gonna use that as criteria and hide behind the fact that it could be racial. And when you look up, you'll see a student body made up of majority one race of people, and you don't have any diversity there. So DEI helps on the checks and balance of that, to help people that can't actually get into these schools without the help of the government making it fair. Because a lot of times you have people coming from different colleges, coming from different high schools, who they would consider first over someone coming from an inner city high school, even if their GPAs are identical. So you have to have that. Also, in hiring at the jobs, you will have, if you don't have a diverse workplace, you have to have some checks and balances on that. DEI helps with that. It helps where you won't be able to hire a certain amount of people from the same race. You have to mix it up. You have to be fair, basically. And that's what DEI is all about. But now you have people filing lawsuits saying that is discrimination against white people, because now you're using race as a criteria of hiring. So now it's reverse discrimination, you see. So now all the civil rights legislation is being repealed. The federal government will not even enforce any civil rights violations at this point, because they are repealing everything that has to do with any diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. He has appointed Linda McMahon. Linda McMahon is the wife of Vince McMahon of the famed WWE Wrestling Entertainment Company. Vince McMahon is embroiled in a bunch of sexual assault lawsuits. So he had to step down as chairman of his own company because he's in a lot of trouble with these lawsuits and he's trying to get out of them. Well, his wife is being nominated to be the Secretary of Education. And she has made statements about taking away anything that has to do with critical race theory or anything that has to do with Black history, having everything removed from the school books from K2 to high school. There will be no teaching or mentioning of any Black history. And Donald Trump has did the same thing, giving directives to his Department of Defense to erase anything that has to do with any Black soldiers that had anything to do with anything that had in the war or helping fight for this country, including erasing the history of the famed Tuskegee Airmen. That was one of the first things he did when he got into office. There was a lot of backlash behind that. And the Defense Department is still considering whether they're going to do this or not. But at this point, it's up in the air. But that is one of the initiatives. Once they take down DEI, these are the things that they go after. So basically, they are erasing history and rewriting it the way they want to. Which brings us to what's going on with DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, headed by Elon Musk. And Donald Trump has tasked him to find government waste wherever it is. And He has said he has found over $1 trillion of waste in different departments, including Social Security, where he says that people have been receiving, dead people have been receiving Social Security checks. You know, he says there's a lot of fraud there. There's a lot of cuts going on, the Department of Education, the Department of Health and Human Services, the list goes on and on. But the main thing about this is that with Linda McMahon being the Secretary of Education, and they are taking everything out of the school books about Black history. This is what's going on, to where now there will be no mention of the achievements of Black people. The things that Black people have done for this country, the inventions, the service, Black Wall Street, Rosewood, these different events that we are just now finding out about are being erased. And they hide behind this DEI, diverse, equity, inclusion, you see. And they don't want a diverse country. They want to return it back to when they said make America great again. And we know when they made America great again, where everybody was. Now, we heard that they're trying to boycott a lot of the big companies that has repealed the DEI, like Walmart. Their hiring practices have went back to where now they're not going to consider any of that in their hiring. So you're going to see less minorities hired at these big companies. So you've seen people protesting by saying, don't go shop there. Well, would that help the matter? No, because you have to go to people for everything you all want and need. So if you didn't go there, you're going to go somewhere else. And basically they're doing the same thing. Right now, you have the conservative movement now repealing everything that the Democrats have did. So all the hard work that was done for civil rights to make equality for Black people has now come under attack. And that's what I want to get to. One of the main reasons why it seemed like DEI was under attack is because of the part about sexual orientation. Because the transgender and the gays have piggybacked the civil rights movement. It seems like once you fight for something, Black people, when we have been fighting for everything we get, everything. But every other cause, they want to lump it in with civil rights. They want to put now transgender, we're all with you, you know, we're in the fight with Black people, which waters down what our fight is all about, and which now brings DEI under attack. Because now, certain things that we don't approve of, this with us, that we have to fight for because it has been included in our struggle. We never signed on for any transgender rights, gay rights. The Black struggle is a struggle of its own. And when we look at the DEI, when they say sexual orientation in there, which is key, and it emphasizes different people have different needs, which is code word for you can be whatever you want to be. If you want to change your gender, you can do that. But we're all in this together. That part of it, I don't agree with, and it has caused a friction inside the community. It has brought a lot of trouble toward causes that we had fought for generations. And now it's all clouded in with something that a lot of us don't agree with. A lot of us agree with a man and a woman. A lot of us agree with the core principle that there's only two sexes, a male and a female. We don't agree with males competing in female competitions and females competing in male competition. But that should not be put in the struggle that we have for civil rights. So these DEI initiatives actually hurt us when we include stuff like transgender rights. And that's something that has brought this whole thing under attack. So when you pick up the TV and you hear about this again, when you hear about DEI, that's what it's all about. It is a diversity, equity, inclusion. It basically wants everybody to be treated equal and give everybody the opportunity to succeed, no matter what your race and sexual orientation is. It's basically a checks and balance so everybody can be treated equal. This is David from USA Podcast. Thank you very much for joining me.